Hiya guys, Freddy here. Welcome back to another Retro Adventures. The end of another week, the end of another poll. We've got a very slim win for the Fiery Trial for the Babylon 5 role-playing game. Now as usual, I'll cover this on the desktop in a wee second, and I'll be back at the end of the video with some other channel-related stuff and some other poll-related stuff. But before I do that, I'd like to take a moment to talk about my Patreons, who this week I have been told know exactly who the Egyptian god of frustration is. Now, these are wonderful people who help support the channel and make all of this possible, and their efforts are very much appreciated. But if you'd like to join them and help support the channel, and I sure wish you would, or you'd like to see these videos a week early, or you'd like to gain access to one of the other levels of patronage we've got, then we've got a Patreon in the description down below. If you check it out, it'd be very much appreciated. But anyway, let's have a look at the Fiery Trial. So, this is the Fiery Trial, although I keep calling it the Fiery Trail for some reason. But that doesn't matter. It's from Mongoose Publishing, it's for the Babylon 5 role-playing game, the D20 variant, and it came out in 2003. And it's a campaign of sort. It's what they call a story arc. And it's based off the way the Babylon 5 television series worked. Babylon 5 as a TV series had episodic episodes, fun enough, throughout its run, where everything was self-contained, like many episodes of Star Trek. But very often they would have story episodes which linked together to create an overall story arc for each season. And that's what this is trying to do. And that's the way they've tried to do it. By creating 4 adventures which you spread across time, with other adventures slotted between them. The other adventures will just be ordinary adventures, but these ones will create an overall story arc. And very cleverly what they've done is they've tied it into the first season of Babylon 5. So there's certain events which are happening throughout that season, which are linked to within this campaign. And likewise, there's thematic connections as well. So they've done a really excellent job. Now, on the back cover, The Fiery Trial, a fortress of light against an ancient evil. Spanning the entire Earth year 2258, The Fiery Trial is an entire story arc ready to be dropped into your Babylon 5 role-playing game campaign. Players of any race and class will start on board the Babylon 5 diplomatic station, soon find themselves catapulted into a race against time to gather the remnants of vital information, but is finally destroyed by an ancient and implacable evil. Far more than any single scenario or even campaign, The Fiery Trial is a brand new concept among role-playing games, building upon the format presented in the Babylon 5 role-playing game, to present an entire story arc for players that can be combined with others of the Games Master's own creation to create a truly unique gaming experience. A complete story arc for the Babylon 5 role-playing game. Well, I don't know about all that extra that they say, but the idea is to create an overall story arc which makes everything hang together. So you can have one-off adventures, you can have fun just playing ordinary stuff, but it does feel like a proper campaign. Now, I've been warned that I shouldn't spoil what's inside without letting people know. So my summary of this, without any spoilers, is this kind of works. The 4 adventures are pretty interesting, they do link together, and I really like the way they link into the first season of the television show. So, this is really good. So, if you don't want any spoilers, please switch off now. But, opening up. Now, this is full colour throughout, although most of the pages are just sort of 4 colours. But we've got no space left unused. For example, on the inside cover here, we've got a diagram of Babylon 5, showing the different sectors, how it's laid out. Obviously, it's a station which works by rotating to create gravity, so we can see as the decks go out to the outer hull. We've got all the layout of the station, the Cobra bays, launch sections, and all that kind of stuff. Fabulous, fabulous stuff. And nice use of the space. Feels like something which should have been in the main rules, and I do believe it probably was. So we've got the contents page. Got an introduction, talking about how to do preparation, what the encounter levels are, because this is a D20, so it's a level-based game. Running the campaign. There's different module handouts, how to handle non-player characters and alien life forms. And then we talk about the story arc. So, Module 1, and so it begins. After a brief minor events on Babylon 5, a man named Roland Anderson approaches the players. He is looking to hire a few specialists to assist him in locating what happened to a survey mission near the rim, and each potential party member has a skill he needs. What he doesn't tell the group is the scientists and now prisoners are a group of Lort, a league race who do not understand the concepts of ownership or possessions. The group must deal with these difficult aliens and fight off the local fauna in order to discover what happened to the missing scientists. Then we've got Module 2, Raid on Ranashah. After a few side missions, Anderson visits the group again. He has a new task for them, breaking a friend out of prison on a Drazi colony. According to him, his associate Matthew Hendricks was surveying what he thought was a newly discovered world, only to be attacked and arrested by the Drazi patrol. Attempts to get him released through official channels have all failed. As an added hook, any players who have Earth Force connections will actually be assigned to undertake this mission, so long as they get a chance to interrogate Hendricks before he's returned to Anderson's care. Then we've got Module 3, To Kill a Thief. More side scenarios ensue, including one involving a major non-player character and her relationship to Roland Anderson. After time, he returns again to call the party together. He admits now that he has a client who is undertaking a great deal of scientific research on the Rim and elsewhere. A team of scientists have recently discovered an alien artifact of huge importance. The ship carrying it back to Earth never made it home. And this is a kind of aliens one. There's a monster on a starship, the players have to go aboard it. Very cool adventure, but we'll come to that. And Module 4, A Spy in a Mist. Finally, Anderson's careful training of the players bears fruit. Anderson believes the aliens IPX has been investigating are responsible for the destruction of the Narn base in Quadrant 37, an event that has just now occurred. Well, obviously in the TV series, that's the Shadows, at the request of Ambassador Malari. These beings are much more powerful than anyone believed. IPX wants to know as much as they can so they can duplicate the technology. Their agents have recently learned that the Shadows, as they have been called, had another reason to destroy the Narn outpost in Quadrant 37. It was to cover for a huge archaeological dig over a ruined city. Party is sent to recover a secret cache of data, now hidden underground complex, right in the middle of Narn territory. And very nicely, we then go into a section about bringing the characters together. It goes through all the different classes and talks how the players might join this campaign. So we go through lurkers, officers, scientists, soldiers, workers, other races. With this in mind, the Games Master now has all the information needed to jump into the story arc, so in the beginning. So Module 1, So It Begins. So it said, this is the first adventure which brings them together. They're going into Drazi territory to rescue some operatives for interplanetary expeditions, IPX. Background for the Games Master talks about the Shadows, introducing those. What happens before the module for established Babylon 5 characters. It introduces a bar rather than the casino which we saw in the episodes. It introduces a smaller bar that we would get to know in one of the meeting places. And that's one of the really good parts of this book, is that it fleshes out places within Babylon 5 and across the galaxy that you can use again and again. So this can be the player's bar. It's not something that's been seen in the TV episodes, but it can be where they go. So we've got the introduction, how they meet up. Talking about being boarded at the border, the Drazi, a transport vessel, deck plans for it, again very useful. The prison camp, different aliens on the planet, ruins, again more aliens, the Lort themselves, which weren't very heavily fleshed out in the series. Rescue and Aftermath. A fairly straightforward rescue mission. Then we've got Raid on Ranashah. So this one, we've got the background, introducing the system, what's happened between the modules. It's telling us what happens in the individual episodes. So we've got Infection, which happened. Parliament of Dreams. And we've got the briefing. A bit of raiding that we're going to be taking part in. Raider ships, the different crew members, Welcome to the Freedom, introducing that, and this is a Freedom base. This is a station kind of like Babylon 5, a large human-built station, which was built during one of the wars earlier, the Dilgar War. And this is an alternative base of operations for the players. It suggests that you could use this as somewhere if the players are forced off Babylon 5, if they do something and you want to keep them away from the main characters. Especially with this being hooked into the first season, you can't have the players interfering with things too much. But you can put them on their station, they're out of the way, and you can get on with your storyline. What else we got? A bar, an obligatory bar fight, with different exotic pets, a general store, so different places you can visit, the Centauri listening post, a supply ship, prison colony where you're rescuing the person from, including different parts within it. And we've got barracks, alien barracks, communications towers, mining teams, how to get off the colony. And that's what happens. Then we've got Module 3, to kill a thief. So we've got the background information on it. And again, we've got what happens between modules. So we've got survivors, by any means necessary. I do find it a bit odd that the font size changes. So that is a heading much like this, but it's much, much smaller. TKO, the boxing episode, or martial arts episode. One of my least favourites. We go through, get introduced, we've got the briefing, getting to the moon, encountering the ship, and then we've got what's happening on it. So we've got different human characters, we've got different creatures that they've gathered, the sections of the ship, so the bridge, the aft rotating section, and then we've got an alien creature, the spider. So this is going to be hunting them through the ship. It's going to be a alien-like, or aliens. No, probably more like alien, although they are armed, probably. But they're being hunted through a ship by an alien monstrosity. A planet with some priests, different NPCs, and the aftermath of what happens. And then we get into the final adventure, A Spy in Our Midst. So we've got the episode Eyes happening. Legacies, Quality of Mercy, and now all the headings have gone small. They've gone like that first one. But we're filling in what happens through the series. And we link into various events within it. So it mentions here, Garibaldi asks the players help in locating Janice. So hooking the players into the events in the series if they're around. We've got another briefing. Transfer as you head out to the Narn worlds. Challenge as you arrive in Narn territory. Arriving at Pulask, the devastated planet. Going down into a ravine. There's different monsters there. Snow snakes, cave bears. We're into the ice caves, which we're searching through. A betrayal. We've got lots of descriptions of different areas. The Narn transport shuttle heading back out into space. Being pulled up by a Narn assault destroyer because you are not Narn people just after one of their worlds got attacked. So they're not going to be terribly friendly towards you. Aftermath, back to Babylon 5. And we've got possible post-module events. What happens? An issue of Universe Today, the Babylon 5 newspaper, going through various dates. So they will mention various events in the TV series, but tie in the characters into those as well. So we've got Quadrant 37, Devastated and Mysterious Attack. Healing Machine Secrets Revealed, Bomb Threats continuing down below. Just loads of information about individual episodes. And we've got different want ads. Notes to flesh out the Games Master's information. Character information. The open game license. And a lovely big map of the galaxy and how the systems are linked together. They're different jump gates. I don't think that's quite how jump gates work, but nice map nevertheless. So that's the Fiery Trial. I do like the way it hooks in. There's a lot in there from individual episodes. The overall arc keeps going, so you could watch along the TV series to catch up with events which are happening around your players. a very, very well done series of adventures. I really, really like it. I'm impressed. I've never seen anything done quite this way before. While you might have Star Trek adventures and campaigns which are based around events in the TV series or spinning off from certain things, I've never seen something which updates it so often and threads it all through, tying the characters into Babylon 5, which is kind of right, because that's what Babylon 5 was all about. So that was Babylon 5 The Fiery Trial. And that won the poll this week, but it's on 27% of the vote, which is only narrowly ahead of everything else. In fact, everything was within 3% of each other, all four options. Because in second place was Into the Dark for Fading Suns on 25%. Behind that was Dawn of Destruction for Lone Wolf on 24%. And then Second Seal of Repulsion for Mutant Chronicles on 23%. So they're all really, really close. And in fact, Mutant Chronicles was leading at one point, and I thought I was going to get a chance to cover Mutant Chronicles again, but alas, not this time. It'll go in the poll, and we will see it again at some point in the future. But as usual, they're all cleared out, and we're going for a retro RPG poll. But mainly these are options which have been in the poll before recently, which only failed by the slimmest of slim margins, to give them a second chance. So, first up, we've got the Palladium Fantasy role-playing game from Palladium Games in 1983. Now this is like Rifts, absolutely packed with ideas. And it's a fun game because all these ideas are clashing against one another, and it's just great, great fun. Far more than many other fantasy games. Perhaps the only other one I can think of which is as much fun is Tunnels and Trolls. In second place, or in second option, we've got the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Dungeon Master's Guide from TSR in 1979. Now, we covered the Player's Handbook a few weeks ago, so the Dungeon Master's Guide's in now, and we will see if people want to see that. After that, we've got Cthulhu Tech by Black Sky Studios in 2007. Now, this is sitting on my desk in front of me, and I'm going to keep it in polls until it wins, because this looks really, really interesting, and I want an excuse to talk about it. So we shall see when it eventually wins, even if I have to put it up against lots and lots of things till it eventually comes out triumphant. We'll get there eventually. And finally, we've got Infantry Weapons of the World for Twilight 2000 from Games Designers Workshop in 1991. Now, Twilight 2000 is fantastic, and we've covered some of these infantry books and heavy weapons guides and things in the past, and it'd be lovely to get back and have a look at one of these, because they are filled with absolutely fascinating ideas. This one in particular was wonderful because it came out just after Dark Conspiracy came out, and that has some alien technology in it, which makes it very, very different for a Twilight 2000 sourcebook. But we'll have a look at that if it wins. So the choice is now in your hands, those four options. I kind of know what will win, but there's always the chance of one of the others winning. I know the two which aren't likely to, sadly. Anyway, what else have I been up to? Well, on Drive Through RPG, I've been releasing some new classes, some new races, just ideas I had when I was travelling. I noted down some things and I've fleshed them out over the last few weeks, and I'm putting them up. These are character classes which are specialists for the race. So taking advantage of a halfling's abilities, of a half-orc's abilities, etc. A class which is an absolute specialty of them. And for the races I've made up, these tend to be based on other games where I've introduced ideas. Things like trade dwarves. Dwarves who have been forced to stop living underground and lost their heritage, but still have an interest in gold and all that sort of stuff, so are still dwarves at heart, but they're just living a very different life. Now, these are probably based on Dragon Age or even a bit of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. But anyway, I just put some ideas together and they're up there. Obviously, patrons of Laird or Librarian status get access to all of this on the shared Google Drive. So if you're interested in that, the Patreon's listed down below. Check it out. Over RPG Gamer, well, I'm back to doing Knights of the Old Republic War. So, years after they finished the Knights of the Old Republic comic, they brought out a 6-series, or a 5-episode, rather, mini-series detailing what happens to the main character after the plotline ends. Now, it feels very different, but it's a lot of action in there, and there's some interesting stuff going in round about the time of the rise of Revan and Malak. So it's very much of interest to people who have played the Knights of the Old Republic computer games. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, see my reviews, see the stats I'm coming up with, check out rpggamer.org. Anyway, as usual, I think I've been wittering on for quite long enough, so thank you very much for watching. As always, most of all, you look after yourselves, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.